welcome. This is Dynasty the Podcast Show. I am your host, Ira Bush. I just want to say thank y'all for listening and tuning in. This is Friday. We're gonna have a great day. We're gonna end the week. We got a show tomorrow as well because I can do it 6 days now. So I'm getting on the road with just like sorry I didn't brush my hair today. I'll comb it out, but might get a haircut. I'll probably cut it today. But anyways, shout out to just everybody listening, everybody tuning in. I appreciate y'all. It's all about consistency. I'm just happy I got to this many shows, and I'm grateful. Just being at this show 34 of just this season of best my podcast show. Just even if when I was doing it on Spotify, I had some stuff on Spotify. I got some other stuff I did last year that was just sports. I did like 9 shows, so I'm. It's like when you giving out grade A plus like news and information, and you do your I'm not saying I'm the most biggest student, but I already have a lot of knowledge and stuff that I speak on. So, if I already studied for the test and I'm already a high level at just being, talking about the things that I speak on, all I need is to be consistent and be on speed and be on pace with everybody else that's doing it. So, I've been consistent for so many days straight. I'm happy that I'm getting back in my groove of it. I'm coaching. I'm excited about that. I'm just in a good space. It's the summertime. My birthday is coming up next week, so I'm just in that good mood, good spirit. So and that's the number that the show is the age I'm gonna be when I turn. So I'm just happy to be. God has allowed me to be here this many years. The Most High God. Shout out to my mother and my grandmother. My great grands. Even though they've ascended. Their energy and their spirit is in my core and it lives on. So, I'm just thankful and grateful, man. Like, and I know I don't talk to a lot of people. If y'all listening, I haven't celebrated my birthday and I don't know, since I was probably like a real like celebration, like go out and have people around. So if y'all feel kind, y'all want to, shoot me a text message or anything, or not a text message, but like be on, reach out on, public forums or whatever this is, or I got 3 Instagrams. One of them locked me out, but I'm still alive and well. So if y'all want to reach out, I would appreciate that. That's something that I enjoy when people reach out just to say thank you, happy birthday. I'm glad you're alive, and it's appreciated. It's appreciated. Now today we're gonna get back into the main thing of this week. We've been focusing. We broke down this review. We broke down the executive orders that were signed in May last week, and this week we broke down the testimony of this testimony of our Secretary of Education, which she did. This is the last. It's an hour left, but we broke down literally 2 hours of it. And I don't like to keep y'all over an hour because I know people get bored, don't want to hear somebody like me talk because they might sound like I'm bossing them around, or I might sound aggressive or over aggressive. So you're only getting a dose of me, in increments, and hopefully you can take it, you know. And so that's all it be. It's not that I don't want to give it to you straight up 2 hours straight, but I'm gonna give you as much as possible, and we're gonna move on. There's a lot that's happened. It's a lot of Starman stories, but a lot has happened this week that we want to cover next week, or start covering tomorrow, and get make sure we get back on. You're just like a regular pace, because this was this happened like 9 days ago, this testimony. So we breaking it down. It took a whole week to break down, but I know guys and girls, young women and men that, you need this information. So make sure you go back and you listen. You don't have to listen to my opinion, but I put a lot of their news clips of what they said on my show. So you can hear what they say, then you can feed off what I said, and it might make you help the education system actually get improved and not get dismantled, which is what the goal actually needed to be, because the system's been here so long. and they forgot when they made the education system who it was for, and what they were doing was trying to control a set group of people who were already had their own functioning of some type of education system, some type of way of life, and they wanted to copycat it and they wanted to control these people. So, you got to do your history on the whole institution and education system and how they had started, good versus bad type with this, with the schools, with put people in jail, then eventually come in prison, or prison probably might have been first, depending on how you want to talk about federal government. And the sheriffs and the police officers, they feel like they're being attacked, but I don't know what they feel like they're being attacked. There's been so much stuff being, you know, I'm happy that there's more government officials, quote unquote, that's supposed to be speaking for the people that are actually getting involved. So that means my job as a media person is actually affecting everybody. And like I said, I try my best because I'm not, once I get hip to somebody that is doing something for the people, I'll follow them. I'll pay attention to how they moving, how they talking, and I'll keep doing my research. Like I got a lot of research to do on all the people that I follow, just them speaking about education, because I have a child, I have a lot of nieces and nephews that are under middle school and down. So, and the two that just finished, the couple, the two or three, about 3 or 4 of them just finished high school in the last 3 or 4 years. 2 of them just finished this year. My niece finished last year. And it's very important. It's actually more on my dad's side, but I lost count. So it's a lot of people in my family that, that graduated, that still are in the running of college and, about to leave high school. So we got to stay on point with these things. Now, in other intro, on the bright side, I participated in the trivia night yesterday. Y'all see I won 3rd place. I'm gonna just tell y'all it was very funny. I had a good time. They actually gave us tacos and all, so it was very nice. What happened was, okay, I'm gonna tell you a quick story. Like I walked in, and I ain't gonna lie, I was like, the vibe was a little off, but it wasn't like unwelcoming off. It was like, let's see how smart this dumb, what it's gonna do. How smart this dummy gonna be. So they put the category. I had no idea what the category. I'm like, what is this? This that. And then the answers were so long, and like it wasn't no like 3-word answers. It was like do and then she was giving answers. She was giving points to people who didn't say the whole thing, and I'm like, what is how? So I'm like, okay, cool. Okay, I'm down. I'm 0 points. I'm talking about the person who won was at like over 1,000 points, and it was like the category was 100, 200, 300, 400, 500. So I'm down about like 6 or 7 questions. And if you add them up to the 3, I was down 3 if you're doing the 500. So I'm like, well, dang, I got to do better the next round. So I'm like, boom. They asked, what do you want to go over? Now, I know y'all might think I'm just here politics, sports, but I'm like science. Boom. I said I study. I never got under a B in science. I'm like I'm good. I'm for sure gonna get points on this. So I'm like, boom. I get science. I was so happy because I was like, boom, out the gate. 100, 200, 300, jump back. I'm in the game 600, 700 points. I'm like, yes, I'm competing. I'm getting down to it. I came all the way back. I'm in probably like the 2nd place round. Like I didn't think I was gonna get first, but I'm in the 2nd place round. Boom, she gave me like a question that I know. I'm like, I said that. She said the buzzer time ran out. I'm like, last round, it was like 6 people who buzzer ran out and got points. I'm like, what is this? Like, I need my 100 points. So I had a good time laughing about that. But I should have won 2nd. And then there was another question that was questionable. So I'm gonna hold them on that, and I'm gonna try to participate so I can keep my mental straight. I love one of the funniest thing one of my best memories. I used to be outside all day when my mom did work her 2nd job, and like I used to be outside all day. I used to literally get off the bus, go straight to the center. Like we had to widen next door to my bus stop. So everybody there, I didn't even take my bag home half the time. And, my big brother, I call him my brother, but he already was at home. He's like, damn, you didn't even check in with my pops. Like, you feel me? I'm like, I'm young. I'm younger than them, so I'm not even thinking it like that. Because he used to, most of the time when I did go home, and that was like right in fifth grade. He started basically being my mentor. So I'm like, I had to go. My bus stop was close to my house, so I used to go home and drop my bag. Well, middle school, I never went home. I wasn't thinking like that. I was just like, bro, gonna get here because I know they already home, or we getting off at the same time sometimes. So he used to say, you ain't gonna go check in, like, dang. But I'm thinking my mom at work. You feel me? But he's thinking like we gotta check in for real. I didn't think of it because they more mature, more older. So I'm thinking about that, how it was. But boom, I'm getting off the bus, middle school, every day. So, but at 7:30, Jeopardy used to come on. So, one of my funnest memories, I was very, I don't know, in fifth grade, I was eating, and I was on my books. I don't know why. I had a very great teacher. She was very she did a good job of just making sure I stayed on track. I did my best in her class. I got A's and B's that whole year. So, it was fun that year. My friends everybody was cool with chilling. It was a good year. So, I used to stay home. Like I used to go home on like I used to be at the park, and I go home or watch Power Rangers, go to the park, get a snack, then everybody start filing up. Then I'll go back home sometimes. We'll play hoops in the front of the house, and then we'll leave 6, 7:30, 8 o'clock at night. We'll go to the courts for play football. It was just a good year, you know what I'm saying? So that was some good times. But we used to watch Jeopardy all the time. So when I say like that, my mom was really good at Jeopardy. She's still smart, so she used to get a lot of answers. I'm like, I do not know what they talking about, but I'm learning something, and it was just a good time. Just give y'all a quick story of why I felt like I should do trivia night now that they do it every like twice a week, or twice a month here at the center or the library. But yeah, that's pretty much it on that. Now, let's move on. We're gonna continue with where we left off with the education. Like I said, it's harder to I don't mind speaking off doing because if I write it or I just take quick notes, it's the same thing. So I was like, man, I already know where she going with this. I know how the setup of this whole testimony is. Everybody get 5 minutes back and forth with her, and then move to the next person. They get 5 minutes. How they break it, 2.5 each way, however they was doing it. I actually was in debate class. I told y'all a little bit how that go. I kind of know a little bit of the rules. They pretty much the same as when we was doing it. So it's cool that I'm getting back into that whole that young energy, that being vibrant and being up to date and being just like in the know. And I'm not trying to be like a famous person, but I'm really trying to make sure like my child and my nieces and nephews who are still in it and still making change in the world. Cause I still make a change, but you know how I go. The older you get, the more older hater clubs you get, the more hate groups you get, and you got to be safe. You got to be wary. And I ain't really wary or nothing. I ain't even stun them, but the hate gonna happen. So you just got to be consistent. So let's get right to it. I know my intro was a little long, but I like to tell y'all, personal stories, laughing, and like I said, the community, as far as community, that's what we did. I was on yesterday, just participating in that. And yeah, so we can get to it. Okay. All right. Now we start this. The guy came, he brought that information to her. Like, she said she agrees with him. She broke it down. She gave some key details of what we looking for, or what the system used to be when my grandparents were in school. And towards the end, they probably took it out around when my mom was graduating, right? And like her middle school. I remember us talking about this when I was younger. They took it out while she was in school in the 80s, early 80s. So, like all that stuff started changing. They put war on drugs, and they wanted everybody to like be civilian type soldiers because they wasn't having real wars. And then they ended up having one in the middle of the 90s. So everybody was like, well, we could have all went trained to be soldiers if we didn't make the professional leagues. And y'all made it seem like we was at peace, and then we wasn't really at peace. We was creating war with people next door that looked like us because of drugs. So this is what ended up the history of being what it was. Now a lot of people ended up getting on drugs. A lot of people families got destroyed. They started implementing, basically substituting the dad for federal funding that was very low and low budget, putting people in small projects in urban areas. This is known knowledge that had started in the early 80s, late 70s, when they were taking down the Black Panthers. And, you do your history of how it went. It was step by step and all this good stuff like that. So, they make it seem like they didn't want the disruption and destruction of the urban and the chosen and the strongest, and it was planned. So now that they're sitting here trying to recalibrate something that should not have been messed up, which is basic trade schools inside high school, starting in middle school, learning how to do all these things in the educational system before they get out, which was what it was designed for. Like I said, we already had our own system as natives and African descent people. We learn how to do this stuff with our parents passing down this knowledge and information. So what they did was try to take something over, got lazy, wanted to get paid, wanted to be in control, wanted certain people to be in front, and all this stuff end up going to the same thing. Y'all not good enough. Y'all not focused enough. Y'all are, you know what I'm saying? This is what they're talking about right now, back and forth. They're talking to each other like they have. Whose issue is this? Because when I woke up, when I hopped out my mom and I started walking and talking, I was already able to do a lot of these things because it comes from genetics. It comes from just information that is passed down through your core, through your genetics, through your DNA. Like that's what it is. Like I could fix something. The only thing I can honestly say I have not got a lot of I'm just speaking on myself as an example. Don't get it like saying I had experience in all kind of, like when I say construction, when I say power tools, when I say the only thing I probably have not experienced is like fixing the whole car or something like that. And I'm not saying I can't learn. It's just like I didn't like. That's not something I chose. I know how to cut hair. I know how to, cook. I don't know what they want me to do. I know how to fix a tire. You know what I'm saying? And, probably know how to do oil change, but I never had to do that many. You know what I'm saying? I never. That's not my interest. I try to like keep something open for somebody to be great at. Like I do a lot of things, so I never looked at it like I just look at stuff you need to learn over time, like my mom told me, and a lot of stuff I already experienced. So, I'm probably gonna have to do more stuff as I get older. The more time I get after I raise mine, and that would something like that, fly an airplane or something. I probably learn how to do something like that I haven't learned yet, but. It's plenty of time for that type of stuff. I'm gonna be great at whatever I put my mind to, and that's basically what I'm trying to say. These people take away that stuff and started testing on us, trying to copycat our mental and our brains, shooting us up with bad, test dummy shots like I was talking about throughout this week when they talking about the education system that play hand in hand. And we was talking last week about the medication system and the finessing of these countries that they owe, that they bombed, that they blew up. They are already here trying to take over mentally and financially. So the reason why is that is because y'all started wars that y'all thought I don't know what their mindset was. They probably think they have the upper hand monetarily, but it's a piece of paper. It's a push of a button. So I don't know, I don't even know if that's what they feel strong about. But and then when you look at the strongest soldiers, it's definitely looking like me, not looking like this guy was sitting here telling us that we need trade schools. And I'm not dissing the people that can do it. I'm just saying majority is, unless they hyped up on something. You know what I'm saying? I know how this work. I played sports, so I let it, unless they enhance. I ain't being funny, but genetics is genetics. So we're gonna move on from this. We're gonna continue with the rest of the with the breaking down of this testimony. Okay, remember I did a this. I was going to do education, but I did a really big interview at school with a lady who has a trio program, and they talking about it right now in Michigan. This lady's from Michigan, and she got her trio program at HCC and at for this. I think it's available at all the campuses, but she's on site with three of the campuses, and it basically helps people who it's not even you don't have to have the highest GPA, you just got to be consistent and persistent on asking for help when you first get there. And it's a trio program. I forgot what she called it hers specifically, but it's definitely a trio program. It's not hard to find, and they're speaking on these because it's actually a big thing. She went to Washington D.C. And if you want to do some research on me, you could go to HCC Hawk Radio. I did like last semester. I did like 8, 9 shows, maybe 9, 10. And you could go on there. And one of the interviews I did one of my shows was an interview with her, and she was a very nice. She's my elder, but she did a great job of breaking it down. When they first started seeing dismantling and messing up, they're fighting back. So you can't just take away people who have established great programs like this trio program, which helps first time people who get scholarship money. So, and it's not about them being super smart, it's about them just wanting to change their life and wanting to change their generational wealth and in an educational way and format. So hopefully, more people keep speaking on these things. I'm glad this actually came to the forefront. That's why I stopped it. This lady actually speaking with some actual, you know, she has a real reason why she's up here. So I appreciate her just coming up, talking. Her people came down straight up, said, "Hey, we here for education, but first and foremost, the terrorists is killing us." She was speaking directly to the administration, which they already had stopped right after she probably spoke, because you doing business and education is hand in hand. If you can't feed your kids, what they gonna be doing? We gotta come formulate a plan. You gotta go hustle. The mom and dad tell them, like, we both gotta go get part-time jobs. You gotta stop thinking about college. You think about trade. Oh, we took away the trades and all this stuff going hand in hand. It's like a domino effect of negative. So they saying it's 6 different programs that they can apply to. They have set up in systems where they're directly giving these funds out, but that's just the way of them stealing off the top and in the back end. So they fired all these people, but they have to actually have the time to see who needs it properly. So they're not really going to have the time. They're really going to be out here trying to steal and finesse and do disruptive things behind our back with the funding of the federal funding. So hopefully everything get cleared. They need to hire new people. That's all that was supposed to be done. Shut down the ones that's stealing for real, and and the percent of how many was stealing, how many was actually doing their job, and it was way more people probably doing their job. The people who speak the loudest a lot of the times are the ones who doing the most disruptive things, and that's what was happening. Everybody was yelling, new president here, rah, rah, rah. Those are the ones that were stealing. Well, that's literally what showed. Then he came in and said, oh, we're going to get them even more because how they treated me. They didn't re-elect me. The negative, the selfishness of this person doing this thing is because he didn't get reelected. It's because he want to blame Joe Biden and the Obama administration because just for entertainment purposes only. You understand? They all on the same team. We all in the United States. You signing deals with Russia and then upheld them. And then Russia being our opposition, helping, probably had a lot to do with that. The wars that we had in Vietnam and World War I, II. If you do your history, how everything happens and back in over here. And it's just like a domino effect of negative, how the propaganda was with Russia. Like, Russia's gonna do this to us. Russia, it was propaganda in the United States like that. So you do your history, that's what it was. And now we got 3-hour phone calls with our president talking about trying to stop a war between Ukraine and Russia that has nothing to do with the United States of America. So this stuff is broad day. This stuff is 2025. This stuff is the complete opposite of what our government was formed on, and even just the belief of the forefathers or whatever they believe in. And I ain't even with the good old boys, white supremacists. I'm just telling you how they was talking. Now it's all opposite. Now they still don't want to give us our just due for helping them in those 3 wars. And I ain't saying helping was a good thing. I'm just saying that's what they made them do. Now, let's continue. I know I got let off, but I'll just be thinking about the history stuff that they gave to me in school, and people have told over time. So we're gonna continue. All right. First and foremost, I'm big on family. So, it's like a very, I won't say small because they probably operate like we do in Florida, but there was a very small group when their grandmother left. So, they lived there in Michigan. They definitely got a good reach of, they spread it out and did what they had to do to put our family on top over there. So I appreciate them. I want the best for Michigan, especially where their area is. Start there. And I want to see success for them and their kids, and they're really my cousin, but you know how that go when they have their family, they're like nieces and nephews as well. So I won't make sure that they doing the proper things over there as well in Michigan. It's like when I didn't take the trip to Michigan yet, but my mom has, and they say their grandmother is from Florida, just like they was all close when they were younger. They all hung around, like they were raised around each other in Florida till they moved. She matured and she started her tree over there. And shout out her, she ascended already, but her grandchildren are strong. They living on. Like I said, when you have more females, the branch is getting bigger and it spreads out. So you know how that go. My family is not, like I said, it's upper echelon when it comes to spirit, when it comes to strength, and I want the same respect that I'm giving here or around in these areas is given to them as well. So that's all I can say. Hopefully everything get worked out with the education system, with how they're doing business over there. And they're not trying to stop small business, which I know they got their hand in over there. So make sure they fund it and their books is properly done. And and I'm speaking, because I'm gonna take that trip very soon. And I like to just pull up. So it ain't no, I want to take my child with me. So I gotta work on some things back at home. But when I come, they gonna know I'm gonna make sure I go in the right spots. And shout out to them. Let's continue. Okay, my biggest thing with her is like she's like that's not controlled by me. That's controlled by the locals. I'm like, but you're over the federal. You're over everyone. Like your authority matters. Your authority right now is what they're asking you, because when they go back, what they gonna say? They gave me a roundabout ass answer. That's what they gonna say because she didn't give no real direct answer. So when they talk to these people that's going against them, these are like the judges, these are the representatives for the people. When they go here, because she obviously don't give the message to the people that they going against in their states. Don't the governor, the senator, the mayors don't listen to nothing they say. You know what I'm saying? Don't they? You know what I'm saying? They throwing the bag over their head like this, back and forth, and the people like hey, what's going on? Where's our mayor and senator? Like, what are they doing? Why are they making all these rules and regulations? And they not confiding in us that we put these people in position. What's going on? Then you get this lady up here and say, it's not my problem. It's not my problem. It's not my problem. It's not my problem. Yes, it is your problem. You the Secretary of Education. You are the person that speaks for everybody. This is your job. Don't say it's not my problem. Go find a solution. Go handle the business and go do what you're supposed to be doing. They need answers. They need the solution to your problems. Now let's continue. All right. I didn't want to butcher the name of the city of the state of Michigan, but you know how what's it? He said like what's it like? It's Sheboygan. Let me spell that out. Sheboygan, Michigan. That's where my people at. You know, and I'm pretty sure they branched out. I'm not saying that. I'm pretty sure I'm just talking about where they was raised at, and you know, I'm pretty sure they got a lot of seeds over there. You know, they visit there and all that. So you know, I'm not saying they stay there specifically, but that's where you know they got roots at. That's where it's at, and you know, I just want to say like that's you know I know this person said some stuff because I'm gonna replay. I had to look something up, so I'm gonna replay what he was saying, and you know that's all. I just wanted to correct that, make sure I'm not shouting just random people out. I'm just reminds it or where they started from. You know, shout out to that city. Hopefully they get everything corrected and properly done in Michigan. So that correction is made. If I didn't do everything properly first time. But we're gonna continue. Let him speak. Well, what's going on? They winding down. You know, everybody done said they little spew or whatnot. What we at? 30 minutes left for this. I'm not like I said. I'm at 50 minutes. I spoke a lot. We're gonna get right to speaking about the NBA Finals game tonight. So I'm glad it was not a 3 day span. It's lit. You know, I enjoy basketball a lot, so it's the finals. So you know, my prediction. I expect the I'm not telling y'all to go bet. I'm just not telling not because this is just a coin flip type of series. Whoever's hot, whoever's playing defense, whoever makes the least amount of turnovers is gonna win the game. But I'm expecting the Oklahoma Thunder to tie the series up. But the way that the coach out coached, you know, Oklahoma City coach last game, and the way that the players on the bench at home played and they won by 9 points, I think it's gonna be a very tough game still. But you got the MVP on the other side is Shea Gilgeous Alexander for Oklahoma. I expect him to win. I expect him to rise to the occasion. And you know, we just gonna have to wait to see it. Unless Tyrese Halliburton, you know, outplays SGA or just be right there with him with 30.75 and all that good point, you know, the high end type of quality basketball, and you know the bench actually competes with the Indiana Pacers bench, then it's gonna be still tough. So we just gonna have to see. I expect Oklahoma to win though. Now, WNBA games have been very interesting. There's been some high level basketball going on. The rookie Paige Butler, she scored 35. Kia Jackson scored 30 the other night. I think Angel Reese had a good game last night. So, there's some good young players out there. Make sure y'all tuning in to the women's basketball. I enjoy watching it when I can. It comes on TV sometimes. Sometimes I think they got a game this evening. I don't even know. I'm not sure. So, it comes on like Ion. Sometimes, they got a little contract with them. They're not as consistent as they should when you got Ion that's on like Tubi and they could play the games 2 or 3 games out the week. Instead of like every blue moon, every once a week, they could put more games on that channel. But I'm just thinking in the marketing type of manner. They could put more games on TV. That's easier and more accessible. That's free. Instead of I had to go watch it at the out at the local bar or something. But the girls' game is growing. It's big. Today the Shy, we're gonna go home and watch that right now. And BMF is coming on it came out today. If you stream it, you can watch it. I think they still show it on Stars in the evening. So if you wait till the evening when everybody watching in prime time, you can watch it. But it was two of my favorite shows. The first episode of BMF was really lit, so I'm expecting something similar, and then as well as the Shy was, it's been getting real good. There was a setup, it was a Mother's Day, especially last week, so I'm excited. That's it for entertainment though. All I can say, man, I appreciate everybody tuning in and listening. It's good that I just be wanting to have feedback, so I'm still gonna share. I know how the media works. It's like people that's doesn't want to get outshined by people like me, but unfortunately they don't speak politics like me. Unfortunately, they don't have I did the work as a coach to even speak this high level as far as I don't even be flexing really on sports. So, I'm letting a lot of people live out there in the media world that ain't as good as me. What I'm saying? I could really go in with you. And we gonna work to that sports side. Cause when I get my real bag of probably like resources, I ain't talking about actual money. I'm talking about real resources. This is a public setting. I'm being public with speaking. So this is I ain't even geared up with the go in the streaming service yet. So when I gear up and really go in and I start revenue and getting that streaming income, y'all gonna really have to feel me on the sports side as well and the gaming. Because if I get back to that PlayStation and start playing Madden and 2K, y'all gonna be like, "Damn, this guy like," you know what I'm saying? Like I retired at 17 from the game, and that was like I'm 15 years in. The only time I play is I go home and I with my big cousin we go in. Like we'll play a whole season sometimes. So you feel me? That's the only time I'm going in on the Madden, and I'm definitely still nice at Madden and just take a couple games to get back with it. You feel me? So it's definitely a problem. I'm gonna get back to it though for sure. And I gotta probably play Call of Duty a little bit. My cousin was talking to me about that one time. I know a lot of people be on that. I'm probably only gonna play 2K, Madden, and Call of Duty. So we getting on the field at all times. So and I ain't really talking on the streaming unless it's something in this form. It ain't gonna be too long. It's gonna be gaming. It's gonna be my nephew already. He with the I need to upgrade him because he's still on for PS4 with the what you call it? What's that one that's free? Y'all know what I'm talking about. The one that they play, the kids play. It's just like I forgot what it's called, but whatever. We're gonna get to it. We're gonna get back on it. We getting on the field. We coaching. We I got my daughter. She finna start. She already probably still. Hopefully she remember what I told her. With just if she get this message and whoever knows he is still hating. Make sure y'all remind my child that she needs to continue to work on her designs because she will have her own apparel business, whether I have it or whether she has it. Whatever delay it is, definitely gonna happen. So hopefully she gets still writing her sketches out for her design, and she's doing mental notes of what she told me she's gonna do because I know women's develop a little bit more when it comes to like their goals and dreams faster and they get faster opportunities. So I want her to be ready at all times. And the school that I wanted her to go to was Plantation Middle School, and there's another school I think where it was 2 schools that I was looking at in Broward that have designing programs, and I know she's gonna gravitate towards that. Even though she loved dance, all of it. The best thing to do is come in being a person who earns and a person who has ideas and nothing in fashion and dancing and all that goes hand in hand. So if you the plug and you talented at dancing, you the go-to person. So I want her to remember she know how to do the steps, she know how to do all that stuff. So I just want her to remain sharp on those things. And I know she probably can sing a little bit. She ain't got the proper training, but she did get a little training in basic dance. And she definitely is naturally gifted at dance. So I'm not mad or nothing like that. You know what I'm saying? I'm excited for her to get older and just, hopefully she get the right mentor the older she get. Her father is a sports person. She not, I wanted her to play a little bit of sports, but she chose the other way. She's not a tomboy at all, but she had that ability when she was younger. So she's definitely athletic. So, I love my child. Shout out to her. My nephew, he went to Tally. Shout out to him. He's coming back next week. We're gonna get back on this court and we're gonna do work. So thank y'all for listening. This is Dynasty the Podcast Show. I'm your host, Ira Bush. I see y'all tomorrow, and I appreciate everyone listening.